Welcome back to another video on the channel. First off, I would just like to explain why there hasn't been as much content on the channel recently. I am still looking for full-time work and I've got a couple of job interviews coming up which I've been preparing for. But I have watched lots of the Miami Open and I think it's been a fantastic event so far. Just thought I would talk through my preview and predictions for the quarterfinals of the men's and women's titles. I'll also be doing previews and predictions for the semis and finals. And then we'll move on to the clay court seasons, the Rome, Madrid, French Open, a fantastic time of the year for tennis. And then we'll move on to the grass court season, which, as a UK tennis fan, absolutely can't wait for. We sadly missed out on all the grass court tennis last year in the UK, Wimbledon included. So to have Wimbledon back and also events like Eastbourne and Queens and Nottingham will be fantastic, and I'll be covering all those on the channel. So today I'm going to be focusing on the 2021 Women's Miami Open quarterfinals, and we have a brilliant lineup, and it could quite easily be a lineup for a Grand Slam event. All these WTA events now are very competitive, high quality, anyone could win them, and this one's absolutely no different. Kicking things off tonight with an absolute barnstormer between Ashley Barty and Aryna Sabalenka, two of the best women's players in the world, both top 16, both firing on all cylinders. Ashley Barty missed the majority of 2020 due to COVID and injury. And Aryna Sabalenka has just been on fantastic form, won 5 consecutive ATP titles, started off her 2021 with a title win in Abu Dhabi. They've both looked very good so far this week. In terms of predicting a winner, I think this is very, very difficult. I think the course is playing a lot slower in Miami and a lot more heavy. The ball's travelling through the air a lot slower than what it was in Australia when it was super quick. And I think that will certainly favour Ashley Barty in this one. I think Sabalenka loves a fast hard court when the points are short. She's allowed to open up on the forehand side in particular. The double-handed backhand as well is a huge weapon for Aryna Sabalenka, backed up with a big first serve. Whereas Ashley Barty's got no doubt power of her own. She's very capable of hitting clean winners, particularly on the cross-court backhand side. But Barty's a better rallier in my opinion. She's got better foot movement, better defence. She's more consistent. She's got more variation than a Sabalenka. I think Ashley Barty is a fantastic women's player, arguably one of the best in the world, more skilled. She's got every shot in the book, particularly on the backhand side. She's got that fantastic double hander across the back cross court, as I mentioned. She's got the single backhand slice, the drop shot. She's just got every shot in the book, forehand serve. And I think on a slow hard court where the rallies might be a little bit more longer, you might need more variation. You might need to be consistent and win the longer difficult points at times. I do favour Ashley Barty in that one. I mean, if Aryna Sabalenka turns up and serves well and produces some of the devastating ground strokes that she can, she's capable of blowing Ashley Barty off the court. You know, she's capable of beating anybody on a given day, Aryna Sabalenka. But I still feel with that Sabalenka sometimes that her mentality can waver at times and she can go into lulls in matches and gift games away and give sets away. And when you get to the stage of the tournament against players like Ashley Barty, Naomi Osaka, and Elena Svitolina, you are made to pay for those mistakes. So I am just going to slightly go with the consistency of Ashley Barty, and I fancy to edge this one in 3 sets. But it will be a fantastic match that really, really could go either way, and you could probably say that for all these quarterfinals. Moving on to tomorrow's first quarterfinal between Sevastova and Elena Svitolina, and Sevastova had a nightmare 2020. I think she competed in 9 tournaments and won just one, and that was a disappointing year. You know, I think Sevastova's a very good player, and she's perhaps gone under the radar of the past few years due to the quality at the top. She's capable of beating top 16 players in a day. She's a fantastic, crafty player, brilliant to watch, and she didn't produce anywhere near her best tennis in 2020. You know, that wasn't the real Sevastova that we saw in 18, 19, where she did climb the rankings and produce some very good performances and got some career best wins. And to see her back in this stage of a quarter final of a Miami Open is fantastic to see. She did obviously get the walkover against Simona Halep, which helped her chances. And Elena Svitolina is a player that I've talked about a lot on this channel. I'm a huge fan of Elena Svitolina's, and I think in terms of a player that's a ready-made Grand Slam champion and a ready-made women's player to get in the top three and consistently produce time and time again and play just wonderful ground strokes with great technique and poise and brilliant to watch. You know, Svitolina's right at the top. You know, she's got amazing technique in every shot. She's incredibly fit, got the fight back ability, which she's had to use this week. You know, she's came through three setters time and time again, and she's got that real heart and spirit. You know, she loves to win. She consistently reaches the quarterfinals and semi-finals, and she hasn't quite got that massive win yet. She hasn't quite won the Grand Slam, but I do feel for Svitolina that she will do it the next couple, 2 or 3 years. Um, I just think she's too consistent and too good of a tennis player not to win a Grand Slam, but I am going to favour Svitolina to win this one. As I mentioned, I do think it's great to see Sevastova back at this stage of a tournament. But for me, Svitolina is a very, very good player. You know, top 5 in the world, in my opinion. Incredibly consistent, does very well on the big points when she needs to, capable of winning 3 sets and coming back from behind. Wonderful technique in every shot. And as I mentioned, when talking about Barty and Sabalenka, I think these heavier, slower, hard courts and the points are going to go longer. The matches will go deeper. There will be 2 and 3 hour battles in the sun. And I just think that slightly favours Svitolina, who's been there and done it more. She's came through them this week. And as I say, she reaches the semi-finals and quarter-finals of events consistently. So I will go with the overall quality of Svitolina and predict her to come through that one in 3 sets again. Moving on to Bianca Andreescu against Sara Sorribes Tormo, and it's just fantastic to see Bianca Andreescu back on court and playing somewhere near her best. I thought she was brilliant last night in that 3 sets win, and you know, we all know the quality that Bianca Andreescu's got when she came through it as a teenager in 2019 US Open and blew everybody away, including Serena Williams in the final. We knew that was a special performance, and she was a superstar in the making. So to see her get a bad knee injury and miss the entirety of 2020 was devastating to see. You know, she was a player really on the rise. She was threatening to take over the game at a very young age. She was lighting up the courts, playing super tennis, hitting winners for fun. So to see a player on the injury sidelines is never nice to see. But you know, Bianca Andreescu has worked incredibly hard. She's had some tough losses. She's had some setbacks along the way. She's played some good and bad tennis, but I think overall now the game is getting back to somewhere near where it was. Her fitness is getting back. You know, she came through a very high quality 3 setter last night, playing some fantastic tennis in the decider against Muguruza. And if you're beating Garbina Muguruza over 3 sets, you're playing good tennis because Muguruza is at the top of a game and produces top tennis time and time again. So Andreescu's back on the march. She's back at the quarterfinal of a good tournament, and she's there to beat every other player. You know, she's a real statement player, and I think, you know, Andreescu at the best is one of the best women's players in the world, and clashes against the likes of Sabalenka and Osaka just mouth watering. You know, they're going to be some brilliant matches in the future, some classic matches, and they're all going to share Grand Slams and tournaments. But Andreescu really is a superstar in the making, so just to see her back fit and playing well is brilliant. Moving on to her opponent, Sara Sorribes Tormo, who's enjoying a very good run of form. Reached the semi-final in Monterrey, has reached the quarter-final this event, and I always don't feel like Sara Sorribes Tormo gets the credit that she deserves. She's not a winning machine. She doesn't hit winners for fun. She hasn't got huge power and plays lightning shots and highlight reel shots, but what she does lack in power, I guess, she makes up for in fight, and heart and spirit and variety. And I'm a big fan of Sara Sorribes Tormo. I always like to watch players with different games and different game styles, and I think Sorribes Tormo, you know, she covers the court so well. She's got brilliant variation. She fights for every ball, very much like a compatriot, Rafael Nadal on the men's side. She fights for every single point. She is never out of a point or a game or a match, and she just gets so many balls back in court. She's got very good variety, and I do think Sara Sorribes Tormo, she's still a young player. I think she is trying to adapt the game on a hard court and be more aggressive, and certainly that cross-court backhand's becoming more of a weapon every time I watch her. So I think Sorribes Tormo, obviously, at her best on clay. She has won grass court events in the past. She's becoming accustomed to hard court as well. So I think she's adapting, improving, and she's tough to beat. You know, you can't play a bad match and beat Sorribes Tormo because she doesn't make many enforced errors. She forces you to play a good game, a clean game, and I do think Andreescu will come through this one. I think with the hitting that Andreescu showed last night was very, very strong, and that have given her huge confidence to come into this one. I think Andreescu is a very clean ball striker. She hits the ball very hard. She doesn't miss the lines very often. I don't think that Sorribes Tormo will have the defence or the power or speed to hold off Andreescu for long enough. And although I expect Sorribes Tormo to fight, make the match difficult, take games deep. I do expect the serve and the returning and the overall power of Andreescu to bring it through that one, probably in 3 sets, but a match I'm very much looking forward to. And the final quarterfinal is Maria Sakkari against Naomi Osaka, and again, this could just be an absolute firefight. I think with Maria Sakkari, we've learned over the years that when she produces the best, she's one of the best women's players in the world. You know, I've seen some absolutely devastating performances from Sakkari over the years. Her forehand is a huge weapon, the serve as well. And when it all comes together, she's capable of beating pretty much anybody in the world. But with Sakkari, the problem has always been consistency. You know, if she starts off a match bad, goes into a shell, starts making too many enforced errors, and the games and matches can run away very, very quickly, which is always disappointing to see if a player of Sakkari's quality. And up against Naomi Osaka, who hasn't actually lost a tennis match in 13 months. You do have to consider that COVID played a part in that. You know, the tour was on pause for quite a while, but still an incredible achievement. And the fact she's won back-to-back Grand Slams, Australian Open, US Open, shows you that the form she's in. And on a hard court, I've said this many times this channel, I simply cannot bat against Naomi Osaka. I just think Osaka as a player doesn't even have to play best to win these matches, and I think it's a case of Osaka turning up for 2 or 3 games in a set and she just blows everybody away. You know, the timing that she gets, the power on the front, the backhand, her ability to return deep with aggression. Her first serve when it's on song is one of the best in the world. And in my opinion, on a hard court, Naomi Osaka is still a class apart, ahead of everybody over the last 12 to 18 months, and the Grand Slam titles show that. So, although I think if Sakkari can turn up and produce the best, then I think she can push Naomi Osaka, but I can't look past Naomi Osaka to win that one, so I'm going to go for Osaka to come through in straight sets. But there we have 4 fantastic quarterfinals. You know, what a lineup. As I said, that could be quite easily the quarterfinal lineup in a Grand Slam, and you wouldn't know any different. You know, 8 fantastic players that will do battle. And yeah, I'll be back to preview the semi-finals and look back in the quarterfinals. I will be watching all of those. I am also going to be bringing out a video tomorrow previewing the men's quarterfinals when that lineup's confirmed. If you have liked the video, please do leave a like. Have a comment in the comment section below as well of who you think will win the quarterfinals and who you want to win the whole event. And I will see you on tomorrow's video.